The New York Jets have made yet another signing, continuing an exciting trend that we're seeing going on with a couple of their acquisitions, and we got to break this down. So what's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. Before we hop into the video today, I just want to say thank you guys for 4,000 subscribers. You guys are absolutely killing it. Hopping into the acquisition that we're going to be discussing in this video. Former Green Bay Packers center Josh Myers has agreed to terms with the New York Jets on a one-year, $3.5 million deal, a source told Jeremy Fowler on Wednesday. Myers, 26 years old, projects as the Jets' backup center behind two-year starter Joe Tippmann, who played every offensive snap last season. Tippmann can also play guard, so this gives the Jets added flexibility. They needed depth at center because Wes Schweitzer, the backup center, was a free agent. So, the New York Jets, yet another signing of a backup depth piece. We just saw we signed the tackle from the New England Patriots yesterday. Now we're bringing in another backup offensive lineman, although this guy is an offensive lineman I think New York Jets fans are going to be more excited to have on the team than they were for Chukwuma Okorafor, because Josh Myers is a better player, and we're getting him on a good deal, 1 year, $3.5 million. That is exactly what we should be paying to a backup center. And if we are taking a look at how he grades out, he is, well, obviously there are 32 starting centers in the league, and then he is graded out as the 49th best center last season. So that is 32 plus 17, so exactly a middle of the road backup center according to PFF. So that's what we are going to be paying him, and that's what we're expecting him to do as he comes in. So grades check out, unlike some of our other recent signings, but we can definitely expect Josh Myers, someone who got injured as a rookie, but since then has been playing a vast majority of his games for the Green Bay Packers, was the starting center up until last year, played almost all the snaps, and only gave up one sack on the season. So this is a quality offensive lineman. I'm a little bit surprised that he is a backup. I would have expected him, even with those grades being lower down of qualifying centers, I would have expected him to sign as a starter somewhere, but I'm excited to have him in as the New York Jets backup. Now, the ESPN article described getting some flexibility back with Joe Tippmann being able to be moved around, but I wouldn't touch that. I mean, I would definitely, we're not going to mess with a good thing here. Leave Joe Tippmann at center. Josh Myers here is going to be our backup center. And, where would you even move Tippmann around? To right guard or to a guard? But we have two good guards. What we need is a tackle, but we're not putting Tippmann out at tackle. So we'd rather go draft a tackle. We can go find the tackle somewhere else. Leave Josh Myers in as a backup because that's what we know he is good at doing. But there is an interesting connection with this player. Also, according to ESPN, the move reunites Myers, a second-round pick in 2021 out of Ohio State, with his former Buckeyes teammates Justin Fields, who agreed to a 2-year, $40 million deal with the Jets earlier this week. So he gets reunited with his old quarterback, Justin Fields, also gets reunited with a wide receiver on that 2021 Ohio State Buckeyes team Ohio State Buckeyes team in Garrett Wilson. So these guys, I know we're kind of becoming the New York Buckeyes after last year it was the New York Packers, but I'm more excited about this because these are players who they have connections with each other. Clearly, the goal for the team, for Aaron Glenn, is to make Justin Fields as comfortable as possible, whether you believe he's the future or not. I'm sure everyone watching this video wants to see him be as comfortable as possible and be put in the best possible position to succeed, and that is definitely going to be with a center that he's familiar with and the wide receiver, maybe multiple wide receivers that he is familiar with. So obviously it's important with that center quarterback exchange. Every center snaps the ball a little bit differently. So usually it's important to leave your starting center in because every time your quarterback gets the snap from someone that he is unfamiliar with, there's a higher risk of him fumbling that football. So already Josh Myers and Justin Fields have a little bit of connection. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be, right back on the same page as soon as he shows up. And I'm not saying they're even going to practice together because Fields is going to start and Myers isn't going to start. But they are going to be, if in the event that Tippmann goes down, it's going to be a lot faster for Myers and Justin Fields to get back on the same page, snapping the football, and to just minimize turnovers, which is always a good thing for your offense. But this is also, it's looking like a trend picking up Ohio State players now. We got these two guys here. Obviously, we tripled them, or like we added them to a roster that already boasted Garrett Wilson, and we're hearing a lot of rumors about Chris Olave and the Jets having interest in Chris Olave. Now, of course you would. Chris Olave is an elite wide receiver, if you ask me. I think he could be someone who, with Garrett Wilson, could form maybe the best duo of wide receivers in the NFL, and I think that'll be very exciting. And we don't have any wide receivers outside Garrett Wilson, but Darren Mougey has to have a plan, and I don't think it's that far-fetched at all to think that the plan for the wide receiver room is to trade for Chris Olave, because there were wide receivers in free agency. I'm not saying go out and sign or try to trade for T. Higgins or just go out and try to sign the biggest target, but this team, we should have heard more buzz about like a Josh Palmer signing they could have gotten done, and they could have just brought in someone that would have added to the room, because Garrett Wilson can't do it by himself. We're going to need to add something else. So it's conceivable that Chris Olave is the end goal for this team, because with Chris Olave, you don't need to invest a lot of resources into a third wide receiver. The New York Jets are going to need to play with 3 wide receivers if they want to run the 13 personnel, which is 1 running back, 1 tight end, and then 3 wide receivers. So to run that, I mean, Olave and Wilson, if you put a ton of money into those 2 wide receivers, you are going to be able to put less money into the third wide receiver, or just put a 5th round, 6th round draft pick into that wide receiver and put together still a good wide receiver room. Now, I know people don't want to invest too much into one position, but we just saw the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl by having a running quarterback, a dual threat, a quarterback who could run the ball, and then paying both wide receivers on the outside. They paid A.J. Brown a ton of money, and then Devontae Smith is also making a lot of money. I think Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, if they were paired back up in the NFL, they would be comparable to that pairing of wide receivers. Not stylistically, because A.J. Brown's obviously that bigger-bodied wide receiver, but talent-wise, I think they would be very comparable, and that would give Justin Fields the best chance at becoming this version of this quarterback that everyone is saying that he can be. But, we got to make sure we got him protected, which is why I'm happy that the New York Jets are going out and making all these signings in free agency, even if they are backup offensive linemen, because we know offensive linemen are going to get hurt. We see it every year. It's the NFL. It's a physical game. Offensive linemen are going to get hurt. We got to make sure we have backups to be ready to play when they're called upon. And these backup linemen, they're not going to be starting quality linemen. If they were starting quality, they would be going somewhere and getting paid to start. So for the backup, you got to sign guys who are willing to be backups, willing to take backup money. That's why I think this signing is one of the better signings that the team has made so far this year. I think Josh Myers, well, he's not going to be someone that we're like, the team's turning a corner because we got Josh Myers on the team. I think it's going to be someone that, in the event that Joe Tippmann goes down for 1 or 2 games, we're going to say, it's okay, we got Josh Myers, he can fill in for those 2 games. Now, if Tippmann, week 2 tears his Achilles, then we're going to say, yeah, we're in trouble. But it's like, and then even in that situation, we wouldn't be in the biggest amount of trouble, because I do think this is a quality signing. I think it's a pretty good player, especially for the money that we signed him for. Also, with all these contracts, we got to keep in mind, the Jets are making sure that long-term the salary cap is not impacted too much. That's why this contract, only a 1-year deal. Next year's salary is not going to be hurt with this signing, no matter how well or poorly this guy plays, no matter if he gets hurt or not. But that's what I got for today. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And as always, go Jets. And thank you guys for 4,000 subscribers one more time.